Leadership, and we came ready today. I'm here with Emma Chappelle. I'm in.
Good morning.
Tell it, Emma.
I know.
Emma came ready. Got a red scarf all tied around her neck. She's bullfighting ready. And Madeline got that derby on, and she got some nice earrings on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came.
I'm
all dressed up.
You all dressed up.
Is this the weather? Because I put this.
Yeah.
So long to get
Look, me too.
2 times.
Exactly.
Okay, and Rita, how you doing this morning?
I'm wonderful.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad it stopped raining because
me too.
I couldn't take another day of the rain.
That's the truth.
Not
That's the
another
truth.
day. Listen, we are here. We're going to talk report card today.
Yes.
We're going to talk report card. We got our report card, and we are going to talk report card. Mm-hmm. And we got Sister Madeline here. And we are battle tested and battle ready. We're going to talk a little bit about the court system. The judges and where our judges of color are being rated not recommended. And we're going to deal with that.
Oh,
and at some point,
we can't. I'm telling you, it comes at every angle.
That's
every angle.
There's not one.
It's not one.
And that's why I try to tell everybody when I get a chance to speak.
That's right.
We have fought for everything we do.
Everything we get and everything we do. That's right.
And if you don't fight, you don't count.
That's true.
And that's also what we say every week is that Black and brown people have to face institutional racism in every area of their lives, whether it's education or it's economic development or it's healthcare or it's political or law and justice.
That's right.
There is no area of our lives that we do not have to face racism and fight it.
And don't forget, when you say economic development and housing.
And housing.
Yes.
And so there needs to be a greater understanding of what we have to deal with on a daily basis because it's constantly coming at you.
Constantly.
Every day of your life, in every way of your life,
That's right.
This is what we're dealing with.
In every arena.
In every arena.
And when we look at the housing stock, and I can remember at one point when I bought my first property in '64, them saying that 65% of the properties in Philadelphia was owned by Black families.
Right. They were.
At that time,
They were.
yes.
Because you went to work, you made your
Yeah.
money, you came home. Now they're going to charge you 40 times as much for what you have to buy.
And as late as
trying to hold on to
2015,
this.
as late as 2015, it was 50% of the housings were owned by Black families, and now it's down to 30-some. I mean,
Isn't that horrible?
That's right.
And most
we're
of it,
being
they have
pushed out
found
of
a
our
way
neighborhoods.
to take it away from us.
That's right, and our culture.
That's right.
Our culture is going with the way these neighborhoods are being recrafted.
That's right.
And so do we believe that if we got more of our children into colleges, so they understood, and they became the lawyers of the day, you can have these other lawyers. You know what? Yesterday, we went on the computer, and it's telling me that there are classes for how you can buy into the liens on people's properties and where they're at.
Oh, yeah, and take the property.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
And then to get your kids ready to be able to buy the liens.
That's right. Happening all the time. Training you to take them.
That's what we need on everything. More training for our families and our children. Real training.
And that's why we try to inform the public on the facts, on what's really going on in our community. And people have to wake up. They have to, if they're already woke, we're happy.
That's
but there's
right.
so many people that are sort of sleeping at the wheel and don't see what's happening
Can we
in our
wake them
community.
up between now and Tuesday?
I hope
if
so.
If they just took themselves
I
out
hope
to
so.
vote, each and every one of us need to do it.
I think we
that's
can
where
wake
our
them
power
up.
is.
I do. I think we
That's
can
where
wake
our
them
power
up.
is. Our power is in the vote.
That's right. And when you stay home, you're cutting the power.
That's right.
And you're giving the other person the upper hand.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Well, they want us to do that. This is an election where they want people to sleep. If you sleep this election, then people will get exactly what they want. Lower the temperatures, don't make too much noise, pretend it's not an election, so that we can get the people that we want to get through.
To the polls.
To the polls, and then we can use our organized body of ward and committee structures to get people elected. And folk know that they can be disrespected, okay? And I hear when Rita, Emma, and I are here, we get calls and people will say, "Oh, he's going to win anyway," and
Don't believe it.
That's
Don't
right.
believe it.
If we thought that way, then if we thought that way, the Fannie Lou Hamers of the world,
Lord have mercy.
the women who struggled
Struggle.
to get us to where we are, if they took that attitude, you'd be back there picking cotton somewhere.
And you know what?
That's absolutely
If we go
correct.
through a second term with this person here in Philadelphia,
With this mayor.
and my God, in the White House, we'll be on the plantation.
That's
we
the truth.
won't be able to afford it.
That's
Did
true.
you hear this morning?
Between Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia,
Ooh,
with the
my
way
God.
African Americans are being treated, yes, we are on the plantation.
Never,
And there's only a few people in the house.
Back to slavery. That's right.
listen, we know who's in the house.
We know who's in the house.
we know who's in the
We know
house.
who's in the house.
And they want to stay in the house and they enjoy it and they
That's
don't care
right.
about what's happening in the
In the
field.
field,
I don't care one
One bit
bit.
about what's happening in the field.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
But
That's so sad. Isn't
it-
it?
That's right.
There, in Philadelphia, there comes a time where you need to vote your strength, and you need to vote your power.
Absolutely,
You
positively.
need to vote your interest. You need to look out, and if not for yourself, for your children, for the children of the city.
Your future.
There's
That's right.
the future for the city. We have just an amazing opportunity to do something different this time.
Yes,
To
it
do-
is.
to do- we're always told, well, history says that it has never happened before.
Yeah,
We can make history.
that's
Teach.
right.
Teach,
We
sister.
can make
That's right.
we can
That's
make
right.
history.
That's right.
But we got to feel that we can.
That's right.
We got to feel that we can.
And I'm a history maker, so I know it can be done.
Right.
And you can always have naysayers. I don't care what you,
You
do.
do. That's
There's
right.
always going to be naysayers. That people say you can't do this and you can't do that. Well, I come from the can attitude. As what did Obama say? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. That was his theme, and that should be our theme. Yes, we can.
And anytime somebody tells me what I can do, I just say I'm gonna.
That's right.
Well,
I'm gonna.
From a very young person, I used to say that no for me was a prelude to yes. Because if you want to make me do something, just tell me no,
Okay.
and I'm going to keep on at it.
Keep at it.
That's what
And
we're gonna
especially,
do now.
when you're telling the truth and you're doing the right thing.
That's
But
right.
you got to believe in you,
That's right.
and we got to believe in the community to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
And
We-
just to add on to that, with Joanne, we had got to. We doing it for the community. Personally, for me, I'm almost 86 now. What am I going to do with it?
Right.
Feed it to my children.
That's
This is
right.
your legacy. And we want you to do more and do better. You have to do more and do better to carry this burden because they'll never give up. Some people just automatically think they are better than. They should have all of it. Around the world, they have gone, taken the minerals, the riches, and just bundle it so it's theirs. The people that live there don't get the benefit. We don't get the benefit.
That's right.
How do we get the benefit here? Everybody in Philadelphia go to the polls. It's your soul that's at risk.
That's
And
right.
you know what? We've been around a long time. I could hold a field if I had to, and pick something if I had to.
Right.
But I don't see any reason to. That's why I'm putting up my fight now. And my fight is saying, let's do this. Come
Right.
to the polls on Tuesday. All of Philadelphia, all of you who want to get rid of the. Can I mention what they can get rid of?
Yes.
If I say the wrong word, y'all just give me the eye or
Get
something.
rid of the circumstances.
Yeah.
All right, get rid of the circumstances. I hope people know what these circumstances are right here in Philadelphia when the money for the sugar tax, we only got 4,000 children in preschool. Not 19, I think it's 17,000 more that need to be in a preschool. And then they're going to say the money's gone, and they put the money somewhere else, and then they got to get it out. The $360 million, we could have had all those preschools open.
At
So
one time.
what's
At
happened to
one
those
time.
children? What's happened to those children?
Next time.
All
It's
those
the next
crazy
time.
stuff.
I know.
It's absolutely horrible.
So we're going to talk about the Black Women's Leadership's report card today. And I just wanted to talk about a little bit about Black Women's Leadership first before we move in. The Black Women's Leadership Council is committed to bringing to you information that will allow you to make an informed decision at the ballot box this election period. Since 2016, we have shared with you informational articles on critical policy issues affecting local Philadelphia government. We've hosted forums with Governor Wolf, Senator Casey, Council President Darrell Clark, and Attorney General Josh Shapiro. We are currently, we've done this, we are currently hosting weekly broadcast program on WRD Radio, The Source, featuring Black Women's Leadership every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We've interviewed thought leaders, journalists, elected and appointed officials on issues affecting the African American women and to discuss the causations of Philadelphia's persistent 26% poverty rate. Philadelphia is a tale of two cities, one alive, vibrant, and beaming with great opportunity for those with access.
Right.
The other, a marginalized minority struggling to survive under the weight of a 26% poverty. Poverty that's compounded by gentrification, poor health outcomes,
Yes.
low wages and high taxes, failing schools,
Lord have
a
mercy.
high murder rate, and a discriminatory justice system, and a lack of access to capital, business opportunities, and city contracts, and a failed political system that allows the electoral process to be hijacked by big money donors. Recently, we joined forces with Women Connected, a movement of African American women organizations which includes the AKA's Omega Mega chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Philadelphia Alumni chapter, and the Coalition of 100 Black Women of Pennsylvania, to expand the numbers of informed voters by hosting a mayoral, city council, judicial, and row office forums. This report card that we are about to present to you comes as a combination of all of these things. So we're going to get started. Let me find out if we're going to a break. Are we going to a break? Okay, we're going to get started. And Rita, Emma, do you want to talk a little bit about the process, too, of putting
Yes,
this card together?
I can, very much so. I would just like to say that we formed committees, and the committees around the themes of economic development, education, economic development and housing, actually, education, law and justice, and health. And also we talked about communications because of the lack of transparency. What happens is we came up with these committees, we developed committees, and each area had a committee that did their homework. They researched the legislation passed by City Council, they researched any resolutions, and looked at what the promises were made. What promises were made by City Council, and evaluated them on whether they kept their promises or not. So in other words, if
The
they
city
made
council and the mayor.
City Council and the mayor, and they made if the mayor, for example, made certain promises when he came into office, someone looked at that issue and what were the promises he made. Did he keep those promises? And then they affixed a grade as to if he did part of it, maybe he got a B or a C. If he did none of it, he got an F. And the same thing with all of the city council people. And so we were amazed at how many promises and laws were passed and things of that sort, and nothing else happened after the laws were passed.
Yes.
Everybody got all excited. They went to city council, they testified and agreed with what was supposed to happen, but when it came down to it, our committees learned that the promises were not kept. And so this was a critical thing for us, and we said promise kept, that whether it's the equitable, our score key was promise kept, number one. Number two, equitable opportunities. Some situations were yes, some were no. Are they in process? Or a property remediation, inclusive impact for blacks, whether or not it was inclusive, and barriers to justice, were they reduced? And so each of our committees worked diligently to assess as I said, the mayor and city council, and as a result, this scorecard has been developed.
Well, we're going to go to a break. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. We'll be right back.
As a mom of 2 young boys in Philadelphia, I worry constantly about not only their education, but their safety. Each day on the news, I hear about countless young people lost to gun violence. That's why on May 21st, I'm voting for Isaiah Thomas for City Council at large. Isaiah Thomas has the background, experience, and innovative ideas to improve the lives of young people and all Philadelphians. So remember to push button number 71 and vote Isaiah Thomas for City Council at large.
Paid for by Citizens for Isaiah Thomas.
Philly, DC, and everything in between. Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Breaking down the latest in local and national news. Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. Right here on Word Radio.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
The soulful sounds of legendary songstress Nina Simone will come to life on Sunday, May 19th, as Germantown Arts presents Singing Nina, an inspiring cultural festival and conference. This special musical tribute will feature a day-long celebration of Nina Simone's life and work, including a screening of What Happened Miss Simone, a panel discussion of Miss Simone's life and work, a VIP reception with music by Mbalia Singly, a garden party with DJ Rich Medina, and musical tribute titled Dear Nina, a sonic love letter by Drea Deneur, and strings by Rootstock Republic. You don't want to miss this extraordinary tribute to the legendary singer, songwriter, arranger, civil rights activist, and high priestess of soul, Nina Simone. Get your tickets today. Visit GermantownArts.com or call 215-839-6732.
Listen live at wordradio.com.
Hello, I'm Ron Hawthorne. I'm a lifelong Philadelphian who appreciates effective leaders. I believe that hard-working class citizens should have a leader that best represents the interests of the community. I've spent many years watching elected officials fall on their sword for greed, power, and taxpayer settlement payouts. That stops here on May 21st with Rochelle Bilal for Philadelphia Sheriff.
It's time for change, Philadelphia. Push button number 50 for Rochelle Bilal for Sheriff. Paid for by the Friends of Rochelle Bilal.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
So don't worry.
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership. It's Report Card Day. And I'm Joanne Bell. I'm here with Emma Chappelle, Madeline Dunn, and Rita Hill. And we're going to begin to tell you what we think based on our research. And we're giving the report card. And we want you to, if you're home and you're listening, go get your pen or pencil and a piece of paper. And I want you to listen very carefully as to what the Black Women's Leadership Research has come up with as it relates to people of color in Philadelphia. Emma, you want to take over?
Yes, I would like to first start talking about economic development and housing. When you think about economic development, it is actually the process by which a community grows, changes, or becomes more advanced. When economic, political, and social conditions are improved, the creation of jobs and wealth, which in turn improves the quality of life of our community. At 26%, Philadelphia has the highest poverty rate of any major city in the country. Black Women's Leadership Council is concerned about the economic development of the African American community and influencing the process to create jobs, wealth, and stability for our community. And I think that is key. Black Women's Leadership Council is concerned about the economic development of the African American community and influencing the process to create jobs, wealth, and stability for our community. We believe when our community is stabilized, the well-being of our families and children are enhanced, improved, and increased. We acknowledge that there is no single definition or strategy for achieving successful economic development. However, we strive to focus our efforts on improving the economic, political, and social conditions in our community to improve the overall well-being of our community. And this can happens in increments, but we have to draw our attention and focus on the following. First, policies. Developing policies to meet economic objectives such as increasing employment opportunities, increasing contract opportunities, increasing home ownership, and sustainable wealth creation. Policies and programs provide services to our community, such as highway and infrastructure, maintenance, managing, maintaining parks and recreation centers, providing medical and social service access in our community. Finally, our efforts focus on improving business finance opportunities, neighborhood and community development, business retention and expansion, technology improvements, and real estate development. We created a scorecard, and the first issue on our scorecard was the 10-year tax abatement reform resolution. Elected officials have a responsibility to the communities they serve to review the effects of 10-year tax abatement on neighborhoods of color. We expect our elected officials to review the impact of tax abatement on neighborhoods of color that are gentrified and the local residents have become locked out of living in their own neighborhoods due to the resulting effects of the tax abatement laws on rising property taxes and the increase in high-end development that raises property tax assessments. And as we evaluated, we went through, first of all, promises kept was a C. Equitable opportunities was an F. Poverty remediation, an F. Inclusive impact for blacks, an F. As was barriers to justice reduced. They got an F in City Council on this whole issue of tax abatement. The second issue was, did we consider the fallout of establishing affordable housing in new real estate development projects? With a poverty rate of 26%, unemployment rates at more than 6%, affordable housing is needed to bridge the gap in housing for low-income citizens. We need developers who feel a responsibility to ensure compliance with the requirement of building affordable housing units beside market rate housing instead of making a one-time contribution to the city in exchange for an exemption from the requirement only further supports the affordable housing crisis. The land bank, by the way, they received C's in all those categories and an F in one. They're a C as far as establishing affordable housing and new real estate development projects. Promises kept were a C. Equitable opportunity, C. Poverty remediation, F. And inclusive impact for blacks was a C. Barriers to justice reduced were C. The land bank, is the mayor supporting it for reasons it was created? That was the question. The land bank can be a valuable institution in fighting blight and abandonment issues plaguing our neighborhoods. Land banks serve our city by safe-holding properties for future development and or sale. When our elected officials work to take properties through the sheriff's sale and gentrification neighborhoods, rather than convey vacant and abandoned properties to the land bank for development and community use, we fail to provide affordable, cost-effective redevelopment opportunities for local businesses, community development corporations, and residents. Promises kept were A. This is the land bank, whether the mayor is supporting it, was an A. Equitable opportunities, they received an F, as in Frank. Poverty remediation, a D. Inclusive impact for blacks were F, and barriers to justice reduced, a D. The next one was under economic development and housing, have minority inclusion goals on city contracts been met? The purpose of establishing participation goals is to afford minorities an opportunity to participate on city contracts and build wealth. We know that overall minority participation rates were at 26%, 26.2% during fiscal year 2017, with a goal of 35%. However, the actual African American participation rate is down to only 5% during fiscal year 2017. Without establishing minority goals and reporting the outcomes, our elected and city officials are not held accountable for failing to meet the minority participation goals for parity in city contracting. So under the category of have minority inclusion goals on city contracts been kept, promise kept, it seems to have an A here. I can't even imagine, since they said it was 35%. Yeah, that's an F. That is an F. Under the category of equitable opportunities, a D. Poverty remediation, D. Impact for inclusive impact, or D. And barriers to justice reduced, a C. So we know they failed in the category of minority inclusion goals on city contracts. They definitely have not been met. And next was, also under that category, our elected officials have a responsibility to the community to review the controversial tax, it's the soda tax, and make adjustments. That cannot be done without an impact study on the effects of the tax on the community, including local small businesses and poor neighborhoods that bear the burden of tax due to the lack of healthy alternatives to sugar drinks. What was your voting record on the soda tax? Everybody voted for it, except for two.
Maria Canones.
Yeah, she did not. Two. I think it was two people that did not. Promise kept, F. Equitable opportunities, C. Poverty remediation, F. Inclusion impact for blacks, D. And barriers to justice reduced, D. Pre-K slots, fully pre-K slots. The qualification for pre-K slots in 3 to 4 is 3 to 4 Keystone Stars. However, child care centers and family care homes in the poorer zip codes lack the Keystone Stars designation that will bring pre-K slots to their businesses. So promises kept as far as the African American community is a F. Equitable opportunities, D. Poverty remediation, D. Inclusive impact for blacks, D. And barriers to justice reduced, F. Participation goals for rebuild project. Establishing participation goals for the rebuild project was a direct result of the outcry of the minority community because of the projected $500 million in renovation and new construction of citywide recreation and community centers across the city. Promises kept, F so far. Equitable opportunities, D. Poverty remediation, D. Inclusive impact for blacks, C. Barriers to justice reduced, F. Mayoral selection of rebuild staff. Jim Kenney campaigned on a platform of inclusion and diversity for all the citizens of the city to rely upon. His campaign was one of the most diverse in recent history. He appointed 170 people to his transition team, but did not demonstrate his true commitment to diversity.
Well, let me correct that. It was not the most diverse.
No.
Okay. So
That's right.
Was not the most diverse.
His campaign was not.
His transition team was
No,
not.
I say his campaign was the most diverse. His campaign was the most diverse. His transition team was not diverse. So he got an F in all the categories for the selection of rebuild staff. And that was it for economic development and housing.
So let's have a little discussion on this. Kayla, how much time do we have before we go to break? Okay. So I know that, Madeline, you want to jump in, and Emma, you want to go to the broader category and start again. We don't have to read the what's name, but we want to do the discussion overall.
On economic development?
In the economic development.
Yes. And I would say overall in economic development, this administration has failed in the categories of inclusiveness, and definitely failed in the category of helping us to improve the quality of life in our communities by helping people own businesses, expand their businesses, get housing, build low-income housing and affordable housing where it's very much needed. Instead, we're building all these high-price homes into neighborhoods that were previously low to moderate income neighborhoods, and now the taxes have been run up. Thankfully, in the area of category of economic development, I think we've failed both in the mayor category and city council.
And I'd like to chime in on access to capital and also business and contracts. The mayor was on another program not long ago where he said that the city of Philadelphia had the highest percentage of minority participation than any other similarly situated city, and I almost keeled over. And so when you drill down in the numbers of minority participation in this city, what we have, and unfortunately, there is no specific category that speaks to African Americans as individuals. So what we see is that the numbers for participation include white women. And when you include the contracts that white women get, then you get up to the 31%. But if you remove them, then you will see that there's a diminishing effect of African American owned businesses. We live in a town where there's only 2.5% African American businesses to begin with. And so what we have seen under this mayor since he's come through the door is a regression, not a progression. We've seen a regression. All of you have heard the story about what happened to one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city of Philadelphia. And there have been attacks on them because people have stood up for them. They themselves have not complained generally. But what has happened is that you have an African-American woman with Team Clean, Donna Ali, who started a business from coming home from college and wasn't able to get work, and started cleaning houses on the main line and successfully built it into a business. And to have her business attacked in the way that it is. And I want to speak to some of these leaders who can sit there and support this mayor knowing that he has participated in that regression. And we have a way, and I'm going to say this because some people whisper, well, she did this or she didn't do that. We don't support black businesses, and that's why you live in a town with 26% poverty. We do not support black businesses. For everybody who sits in the seat currently in city council to have not collectively spoke to the mayor and demanded an explanation as to how you can do this in this city, they have some accountability. Now, there were some that stood up. Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds, Councilman Derek Green, Councilwoman Maria Quinones, They stood up and they talked about it. And you want to remember that on Election Day. They stood up
Absolutely.
and they talked about it. It's important. We're going to go to break. You're listening to 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership, and we'll be right back.
Need help with your Social Security, veteran benefits, or Medicare? Congressman Brendan Boyle is hosting a Senior and Community Expo Saturday, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Esperanza Academy Charter School on the 300 block of West Hunting Park Avenue. There'll be free health screenings, more than 100 local vendors, and a free light lunch. To RSVP, just call the Congressman's district office or go online at boyle.house.gov. This advertisement was paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Independence is a precious thing, but now and then everyone needs a little help. Isn't it good to know that getting the help you need doesn't mean drastically changing your life? Always Best Care Philly and Delaware is there to give you just the amount of help you need, from a few hours a week to as many hours as you need, handling everything from light housekeeping to meals, and so much more. Don't struggle. Contact Always Best Care and see how easy it is to age in place. Call us at 302-409-3710 or visit alwaysbestcaredelaware.com.
This is Councilwoman Maria Quiñones Sanchez. Thank you for your continued support. I'm your fighter in City Hall because our neighborhoods deserve excellent services and a voice that goes beyond divisive rhetoric and special interests. I never forget that I'm fighting for you and your family's future every day. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st, press number 85, Democrat for City Council, 7th District. When we work together, we all win. Paid for by Friends of Maria.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation? Follow us on social media using the hashtag onWURD. Be heard. Stay connected to Word Radio. Independent Black Media. The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts is excited to present the next installment of their Jazz Residency collaboration for 2019. In its 6th year, the Kimmel's Jazz Residency program is designed for groups of local artists to create their amazing personal stories through the jazz music genre. Performing in the Kimmel's SEI Innovation Studio Thursday, June 6th will be trombonist Dan Blacksburg with percussionist Joseph Goldman. Friday, June 7th will feature the amazing sounds of guitarist David Allen, poet laureate Raquel Salas Rivera, and violinist Diana Monroe. And June 8th, the soulful Latin American composer Dario Peñazek, lyricist Maya Peñazek, and singer Ariacine Trujillo. Tickets on sale now for these special BYO events. Visit kimmelcenter.org or call 215-893-1999.
Helen Gim fights for every single child in this city. I know because she fought for mine. My 2 sons attend a Philadelphia school that was supposed to close a few years back. Helen Gim stood with us to organize parents and keep our school open. When she got elected to city council, I knew Helen would get to work. Helen restored school nurses and counselors. She fought for clean water and brought music programs back to our schools. She's standing up for air conditioning and clean and safe school buildings. Helen Gim fought to end the state takeover of our schools so parents like me could have a voice in our kids' lives. She's fighting poverty with a new law protecting hourly workers. She supports a $15 minimum wage, affordable transit, and protects renters and homeowners in our city. I'm voting for Helen Gim, button number 56, because I know she gets things done.
I'm Helen Gim, number 56 on the ballot. I'm running for re-election to City Council at large as your champion for Philadelphia school kids and working families. When you vote for me, you're voting for a fighter who won't stop working for Philadelphia for all of us. On May 21st, push button number 56 for Helen Gim. Paid for by Friends of Helen Gim.
You're listening to The Source on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership, and it is Report Card Day today.
Report Card
Get your
Day.
pens, get your pencils, get your piece of paper, because we're going to talk to you about the status of the city of Philadelphia, and we are giving them their report card. We are giving the city council their report card. We're giving the mayor their report card. And here with me today, as in every week, is Emma Chappelle, Rita Hill, and we got we got our senior advisor here, Madeline Dunn, and Madeline is ready to rip into it.
She is.
She's ready to rip. We're going to get some discussion going right after Rita gives the latter part of the report card on economic development.
Because I think it's important that we let the listening audience know our expectations. Now, I'm going to start with soda tax, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, Miss Emma.
Okay.
But I think everyone knows how dear the soda tax and the resulting effects of the soda tax on pre-K and the lack of pre-K slots that went into the poorest communities. That's been an issue that we've taken up and that we have reported on continuously. So I would like to make sure that you understand, Philadelphia, what we expect of our elected officials regarding this soda tax. We expect our elected officials to review the impact of the soda tax on small businesses in the city, including small grocery stores, grocery chains, as well as the child care centers and family care homes, because the soda tax supports both Philadelphia Pre-K and the rebuild projects. We expect our elected officials to review the requirements of Philadelphia Pre-K and the exclusion of a high number of child care centers and family care homes in the poorest sections of the city. We expect our elected officials to conduct an impact study on the existing pre-K requirements and make adjustments to assist child care centers and family care homes with raising their quality and achieving the Keystone stars necessary to achieve pre-K slots, provide technical assistance, quality improvement funds, and additional resources where they're needed. We want you to conduct an official review of where the pre-K slots were created, and we will fact-check our elected officials' promises to bring universal pre-K to the poorest neighborhoods for the benefit of the poorest children in our city.
All right.
That's what we expect of our elected officials. We don't expect anything less. We expect the elected officials to ensure that the participation goals for the rebuild project are met and the minority community has a fair chance to participate in contracts, employment opportunities, and union apprenticeships and union rate positions on rebuild projects. We also expect our elected officials to hire a rebuild staff that has experience and is committed to the minority inclusion goals that are set. Our elected officials need to establish that they can keep their word to the constituency. In a city where 26% of the citizens are in deep poverty, it is absolutely necessary that people of color are at the table when decisions are made about city policy, including hiring practices, procurement decisions, educational policy, health and welfare funding commitments, and criminal law and justice reform policy, and when it's established. These are the things we expect of our elected officials. Miss Emma?
Okay.
I got fired up.
Thank you. Wait, I was going to say, yes, Rita. Yes, Rita. Yes.
And I was holding my lips shut, so I didn't butt in.
It's okay. It's fine, but that's what we expect.
Okay. I agree with you. And also, the desired outcomes for real estate and gentrification. Under those categories, we expect our elected officials to review the geographic scope of tax abatements in order to reform and redistribute the tax benefit to our communities of color. We expect our elected officials to support and enforce compliance with the requirements of the affordable housing laws that created construction ratios for affordable to market rate new construction unit for developers around the city. We expect their review and enforcement of the affordable housing laws in new development projects across the city, as there is a tremendous lack of affordable housing units available to the low-income population in Philadelphia. We expect our elected officials to support the land bank's purpose in dealing with abandoned housing, vacant buildings, and empty lots across the city. We expect our elected officials to care about our communities and to use the vehicles put in place to build our communities and make them stronger. And you did the rebuild minority contractors?
No.
Also, under the rebuild, we expect our elected officials to support the mandated citywide goals for the participation of minority, female, and disabled-owned businesses in city contracts, and to require reporting of the goals and outcomes to City Council. We don't get the desired outcomes in city contracting opportunities because we are not represented in the selection committees on city contract review teams, nor are we included in the development of the criteria. There's one other category that has been a hang-up with me. I keep seeing these ads on TV, and it's almost like we got fake ads now, like they had fake news. And I keep seeing where they have $15 an hour, they're paying $15 an hour. And that ad is not true because they really don't get to the $15 an hour till 2025. Most of the people are making $7.25 an hour. City employees are making something like $12 and some 25 cents, which increases to $13.25 this year in July. But that is not the $15 an hour. It's going to take them a couple more years to get there. And they keep having in this ad that everybody's getting $15 an hour, which is not true.
That's not true.
What we would ask you to do is those ads that you see coming from the mayor, ignore them.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's stop being used.
Yeah,
let's stop being used.
We need to be aware.
You know, we have follow the money. Mayor Bloomberg, ex-mayor of New York City, billionaire, comes into town, lays out some money because he knows that he wants to support a sugary beverage tax. This is the same mayor who, throughout his tenure in New York City, he had stop and frisk. We got a trial going on with Eric Gardner because he was chokehold to death. Yes. So we let him take his policies. Now, New York is my hometown. We didn't want him when he was there. Don't let him bring his stuff here.
Right.
Let's stop listening to all of this stuff. Cut through all of the stuff that we are being told, the ads that we're hearing. This person is really good for you, you know, and they're great for you. If they're that great, they don't need to run an ad because you know it. You would know how great they were because you were feeling it. They wouldn't have to tell it to you because you would know it. When you stepped outside your door, you would know it. You could look in your neighborhood and you would know it. You wouldn't need anybody to spend millions of dollars to tell you how great they are. Madeline?
You got me off guard. My head was all over the place. Let me say this. What's going on in Philadelphia now is horrible. It absolutely is horrible for the people. The people who have the money that can do the ads, etc. They are everywhere. I got a mailing the last 10 days. I have got a mailing every day. It is a piece comes in the post office about this day from Kenny, even down to the people that he endorsed.
That's right.
Okay. And
I had it here yesterday. Monday.
It feels so. I mean, it makes you want to get a baseball bat and do something. Plus, I called downtown about something, water, and I was told that I couldn't speak to anybody. They didn't have anybody there to speak to. Is this still with the city? I said, is Kenny still a mayor? He doesn't have people that you can speak to? Wait a minute. I'll give you Miss Days. Who is Miss Days? She's the supervisor because she never answered the phone.
No.
But the girl was not going to give me anybody's name, just going to hang up on me. Like, you know, I'm not going to have it.
Right.
And then this morning, we put our trash out Monday night. The trash is still sitting there. This is Wednesday, right? The trash is just sitting in West Philadelphia, 34th Ward. From 63rd Street down to 60th Street, I saw trash on both sides as I was coming down here. They have so much power. It is ridiculous. And just as Rita was saying and Emma was reading, if the council people got to be looked at real carefully. I tell you, I could not understand why there was nothing in there to say that when this money is used, I mean, just for people who do business, don't you when you borrow money or you're doing whatever you're doing to get the money,
right?
Don't you have a plan on how you're going to spend it?
You have to have a plan.
And then
absolutely.
And then
And
you're
how you gonna
supposed to
pay it
file-
back? And how you gonna pay it back?
Right. And what the plan is supposed to do.
That's right. And
so
when
they
it's
didn't do
supposed
this.
to do it. And when it's supposed to do it. The
Okay.
plan should not only say what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to have timetable on when it's supposed to do it.
Right.
All right, and we have not seen any kind of a plan. It just seems like it's free willy.
It does seem that way.
Yeah.
It does seem
Well,
that way.
there's a plan, but I don't know that we agree with the plan, because our interest is always overridden. Our interest is secondary to the primary interest of big business, primary interest of big real estate, primary interest of big unions, and then somewhere along the line we're a tag along. It's like that old trickle down theory, that if the city is healthy and it's strong, it will trickle down. Well, it
No, it
didn't.
won't.
It didn't trickle down to 26% of the population. I watched the debate the other night. I hope all of us watched the debate, and in the mayoral debate.
Yes.
And there was this thing, there's an excuse that the mayor had been in office only 3+ years and that he could not eradicate the persistent poverty. We understand that. That's not our argument, because that's a specious argument. Nobody's saying that this mayor is responsible for structural poverty. We know
right.
that. We're not that ignorant. We know that.
Right,
Okay, so,
right.
but what we're saying is that his policies continue it. Because he's not addressing it, and in fact, he has, in some instances, contributed to it
Even
by
more.
his
That's right.
appointments to government,
Right, right.
by his lack of contracts to
That's
African Americans,
right.
and
That's right.
even in the social service. I am told that we have $3 billion that goes out yearly for contracting out services in the area of social service, and that collectively, all of the African American run social service agencies get less than $100 million. Some of them are on the brink of closing their doors because they don't get this money. But in the meantime, we are building a bigger agencies that have nothing to do, not African American run. I call that poverty pimping. That they make money on black and brown misery.
That's right.
No, misery, because there are families that are in pain.
Children and families.
And children and
Yeah.
families. And the agencies that could provide those services are being squeezed out. I am told we got to go to a break. You're listening to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership, and we'll be right back.
Get your money straight. Get my money right. It's Solomon Jones and Akbar Hassan. Fridays on Wake Up with Word. 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Exclusively on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app.
Now's the time to get your home ready for any season with a Pico Energy Assessment. For just $25, a Pico Energy Advisor will come to your home and recommend ways to make your home more efficient and more comfortable year-round. Schedule your assessment today at pico.com/assessment or call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE. That's pico.com/assessment or call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE. Plus, you may be eligible for an assessment for free.
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an extreme flash flood.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Talk to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Are you stressed from work and daily life? Are you lacking the confidence to become the person you want to be? Do you want to take your healthy lifestyle to the next level? If so, let's work together. Hello, I'm Halana, your resident self-care strategist. 14 years ago, I started my very own wellness journey, and since then have been able to help hundreds of people to regain control of their lives through yoga, meditation, and plant-based eating. If you want lasting lifestyle changes and to build healthy habits that will grow with you, text me your email address right now. I know you have your phone in your hand at 267-281-3890. Again, that's 267-281-3890. Text me your email address to receive your very own self-care guide.
Hi, this is Sandra Dungy Glenn, Democratic candidate for City Council at Large on May 21st. You know me from WURD and my service on the school board and SRC. I'm running because Philadelphia is a city of haves and have-nots. We must do more to move families out of poverty and invest in people over property or profits. I hope to be the public servant to work with you, for you, and be available to you. Push number 77 for Sandra Dungy Glenn, City Council at Large. Paid for by Philly for Sandra Dungy Glenn, Trent Pettis, Treasurer.
WURD Radio congratulates President and CEO Sarah Lomax Reese on being the recipient of the Pass the Power Entrepreneur of Today and Tomorrow Award, presented by the Women of Tomorrow. Sarah and others will be acknowledged on Wednesday, May 15th during a special event at Ridgeland Mansion, 4100 Shimoni Drive, from 6 till 9 p.m. The event will feature music by jazz singer Imani, wine tasting by Moore Brothers Wine, delectable desserts, special beverages, and more. All proceeds will benefit the Greater Philadelphia program. Join the celebration and get your tickets today. For more information, visit PassThePowerEvent.org.
Drive in with Solomon Jones. Drive home with Charles Ellison. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Philadelphia, independent black media. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media.
They say I'm crazy, the way you got me open, baby. Ooh. They say I'm bugging, the way I'm type sweating your loving. Ooh. They all sit and wonder why this feeling I cannot hide. It ain't a question of pride. Ooh. It's love. Ooh. It's love. They say I'm tripping, the way you got my whole life flipping. Ooh. They say I'm losing it,
Do you want it on your collard greens? Candy sweets? We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. And today is Report Card Day. Do you hear me? It is Report Card Day. I am here today with Emma Chappelle, Rita Hill, and Madeline Dunn. And we are giving the scores, and we are talking about what you should think about before you go into the booth on Tuesday, what you're going to vote for. If you're going to vote for strengthening this city, changing this city, if you don't vote, you don't count. And if you vote for change, we have some future here. Rita, did you find that scorecard?
I did.
Okay.
So we want to go into the Health Committee scorecard. And so the Health Committee scorecard was also scored in the same way that economic development was scored. The committee looked at different resolutions as well as different bills that were passed that would affect the African American community, and they came up with a list of topic areas that were central to the health and welfare of the African American community in Philadelphia. So we're going to start with opioid substance use disorder prevention and treatment. So what the committee stated was that according to the 2018 Health of the City report completed by the City of Philadelphia Department of Public Health, which was released in January of this year, drug overdose is the third leading cause of death, following heart disease, which is number 1, and cancer, which is number 2. In 2017, some 1,217 people in the city died of overdoses, almost twice the number from only 3 years ago. More than 80% of Philadelphia's overdose deaths in 2016 involved opioids. While traditionally perceived as an epidemic affecting whites, the opioid crisis ranks among the top issues killing blacks in Philadelphia, even more than gun violence. So in 2017, 253 homicide victims in the city were black, while 321 of the people who died from opioid overdoses were black. So that's just an opening statement on opioid substance use disorder prevention and treatment. So that's some data. So we're going to go on to how the committee scored elected officials in the city. So the Health Committee looked at Resolution 180037, which authorized the Committee on Public Health and Human Services to hold hearings to assess the City of Philadelphia's efforts as coordinated by the Managing Director's Office and our Human Services departments to prevent and treat abuse, addiction, and disease related to the use of opioids. The status is that the resolution is being held in committee since March 12th of 2018. So we look at promises kept. So in terms of promises kept, the Health Committee scored elected officials with a B. Equitable opportunities, they were scored with a B. Poverty remediation was average and scored as a C. Inclusive impact for blacks was also average, scored as a C, and barriers to justice reduced was scored as a C. So the city's response and their overall score for elected officials in the city would be a C. So for poverty remediation, the city should be doing more to include ongoing efforts for sustainable living or employment in order to affect poverty remediation. For inclusive impact for blacks, we scored that as being in progress or not fully understood or known yet. There's still work to be done. So we need to work on providing more education in black communities. And barriers to justice reduced. The committee said we need to have diversion policies put in place to formalize the current practices and eliminate emerging disparities. So we move on to Bill 180888A, amending Title VI of the Philadelphia Code entitled Health Code by adding a new chapter 6, 1200, entitled Pharmaceutical Sales and Marketing Practices, to provide for the registration of pharmaceutical manufacturer agents and certain other requirements, and to prohibit gifts for pharmaceutical manufacturers and their agents to healthcare practitioners, all under certain terms and conditions. So the status of that bill is that it failed. Vote was 9-5. In February of 2019, Councilpersons Greenlee and Bass cast votes in support of the bill, along with Council President Darrell Clark and City Council members Kenyatta Johnson and Janie Blackwell. Voting against the bill were Council members David O., Mark Squilla, Helen Gim, Brian O'Neill, Al Taubenberger, Maria Quinones Sanchez, and Bobby Heenan, Derek Green, and Alan Dom. Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown and Sherelle Parker recused themselves because of a conflict of interest, and Councilman Curtis Jones was absent. So, we look at promises kept was an F. Equitable opportunities, F. Poverty remediation, F. Inclusive impact for blacks, F. And barriers to justice reduced, F. F across the board, because we have to hold doctors and hospitals accountable for distributing and lobbying the community. Bill 19003, amending Section 9-637 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Opioid Antidote Availability, to revise certain provisions relating to the form of naloxone available, and technical changes to the penalties for not complying with provisions of this law, all under certain terms and conditions. This bill, the status of this bill is it is still in committee. So, the Health Committee gave promises kept. For promises kept, the Health Committee gave a B. For equitable opportunities, the Health Committee gave a B. For poverty remediation, Health Committee gave a B. For inclusive impact for blacks, the Health Committee gave a B. And for barriers to justice reduced, the Health Committee gave a B. So Narcan availability, making sure pharmacies had it available, and there's been no public hearing yet, but approximately 40,000 doses of Narcan have been distributed. Work needs to be done training communities of color on its use. So moving on to the next section, equitable access for minority providers of mental and physical health. The lack of health insurance is a huge barrier to accessing health care. The black community has lower rates of health insurance enrollment because of disparities in employment and health conditions. The Medicare Act eliminates the insurance barrier and grants access to all Philadelphians. Resolution number 180251, urging the United States Senate to pass the Medicare Act for All of 2017 and affirming universal access to health care as a human right. This resolution was passed March 22, 2018, 14-3. The voting record, yes votes were President Clark, Squilla, Johnson, Blackwell, Jones, Heenan, Sanchez, Bass, Parker, Dom, Green, Greenlee, Gim, Reynolds, Brown. The no votes were O'Neill, O, and Taubenberger. So the Health Committee gave on this resolution an A for promises kept, for equitable opportunities, an A. For poverty remediation, they didn't give a score. For inclusive impact for blacks, they gave an A. And for barriers to justice reduced, they gave an A. Moving on, resolution number 170651, authorizing the Committee on Public Health and Human Services to hold hearings regarding the provision of behavioral health services for people of color and the state of mental health and mental health awareness in the black community and other communities of color. the status of this resolution. It is still in committee. Hearings were held April 2nd, 2018, and it was sponsored by council members Green, Bass, Parker, Reynolds, Brown, Taubenberger, Jones, Blackwell, Johnson, Greenlee, and Gim. The committee gave this resolution an F for promises kept. For equitable opportunities, they gave an F. For poverty remediation, they gave an F. For inclusive impact for blacks, they gave an F. For barriers to justice reduced, they gave an F. And the committee said more should be done on this. The resolution needs next steps. Moving on, the committee then turned their attention to maternal and infant mortality. Resolution number 100260, authorizing the Committee on Public Health and Human Services to hold hearings to investigate the emergence of infant mortality as an epidemic in Philadelphia, the causes of infant mortality, the racial and ethnic disparities in the prevalence of infant mortality, and to evaluate infant mortality prevention and reduction initiatives in order to reduce the rates of infant mortality. This resolution was introduced by council members Reynolds Brown, Tasco, Blackwell, and Green. It was sponsored by council members Reynolds Brown, Tasco, Blackwell, Green, Jones, Good, Greenlee, Miller, Sanchez, Krajewski, Rizzo, Kelly, Clark, and O'Neill. So this is an older bill, but it has to deal with maternal and infant mortality, so it deserves a look. So the committee gave the resolution on promises kept an F. For equitable opportunities, an F. For poverty remediation, an F. For inclusive impact for blacks, an F. And for barriers to justice reduced, an F. The committee said this resolution is the most recent act by council on maternal and infant mortality.
And it's now an epidemic. And so if they had addressed it when it was first brought up and took it seriously as something that we should have addressed, we certainly would be on the road to have addressed it. So by putting this in here is talking about that's the last time that it had been addressed.
Was 2010.
Was 2010, and we are now in 2019 with an epidemic.
With an epidemic in the city as well as surrounding counties, and that should be an outrage for every Philadelphian. If there is an epidemic, that means that we are up in statistics with third world countries, and that should not be.
That's right.
We should be able to address it and eradicate it. So moving on.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done.
My God.
Resolution number 190040, authorizing the Committee on Public Health and Human Services to hold hearings on the increase in maternal mortality among African American women in Philadelphia. The resolution was, so we just talked about infant mortality, and now we're moving on to maternal mortality in Philadelphia. So the resolution was introduced by council members Bass, Blackwell, Reynolds Brown, and Greenlee. And the resolution was sponsored by council members Bass, Blackwell, Reynolds Brown, Greenlee, Green, Jones, Parker, Gim, Dom, Johnson, and Heenan. So the committee gave this resolution, for promises kept, they gave it a grade C. For equitable opportunities, they gave it a grade C. For poverty remediation, they gave it a C. For inclusive impact for blacks, they gave it a C. And for barriers for justice reduced, they gave it a C. So, looking at the Health Committee scorecard and their case that they made for desired outcomes on opioid, substance use disorder prevention and treatment, the committee feels that elected officials must ensure that African American community-based organizations and healthcare providers have equitable access to business opportunities created with new funding provided by the city, provided by the state for city agencies to combat the opioid epidemic. For example,
We're going to take a hold. We're going to go to break, and we're going to drill down on that, because that is one of the most important things that we need to talk about and isolate. You are listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership, The Source. This is Report Card Day, and we will return with more on our report card. We'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters! Don't miss The Source. Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Word Radio, WordRadio.com, and the Word Radio app.
Who will protect the citizens of the tri-state area from careless motorists, doctors who make medical mistakes, and companies that make defective products? Who will ensure that property owners are held accountable for dangerous conditions on their land? Who will represent the people with the honesty, integrity, and compassion that they deserve?
I will. I'm Sam Anyon, your advocate, your lawyer, but most importantly, I'm your friend.
For more information, call 215-935-6901. That's 215-935-6901. Call now.
The Kimmel Center offers free arts education programs to schools across the region. Teaching artists visit classrooms to educate, engage, and inspire the next generation using creative learning experiences, and schools take trips to the Kimmel Center for live performances. The Kimmel Center is committed to educating Philadelphia's youth by providing access to quality arts. For more information, visit kimmelcenter.org. WordRadio.com.
This is Councilwoman Maria Quiñones Sanchez. Thank you for your continued support. I'm your fighter in City Hall, because our neighborhoods deserve excellent services and a voice that goes beyond divisive rhetoric and special interests. I never forget that I'm fighting for you and your family's future every day. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st, press number 85, Democrat for City Council, 7th District. When we work together, we all win. Paid for by Friends of Maria.
You're listening to The Source on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Courageous, the courageous, Dreamettes.
It's the Dreamettes, the Dreamettes. Magnetic power that just keeps holding me down. I feel just like a flower that you're keeping stuck in the ground. Oh, move right out of my life. Move it out of my life. Move right out of my life. Move it out of my life. Move right out of my life. You are so horribly satanic. The way you lead me around, I feel just like the Titanic. I'm always going down, 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 down. You're stepping on my star, yes you are. Said move. I wanna breathe for a while. I wanna breathe for a while. Hey baby, hey baby, get out of my life. That's too much pain to shine. So why don't you pack it up and move it? Take the packet and caboodle. Take the broken down car, your smelly cigar. Just move right out of my life.
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. We are here today. I'm Joanne Bell, here with Emma Chappelle, Rita Hill, and our special guest in the studio, Madeline Dunn. This is Report Card Day. Get your paper out, your pencils, your pens. We're talking about how City Hall, the mayor, City Council are addressing the issues that most affect the African American community and the community of color, we want you to be mindful that Election Day is Tuesday, May 21st. We want you to take this knowledge that we're giving you today into the polls with you on Tuesday. It is very important that you vote your interests, not someone else's interest, not the people, follow the money, because most people will tell you who's good for you, it's good for them, may not be good for you.
That's right.
That's
good
right.
for them. If the things that we are sharing with you today make sense, this is not for Joanne Bell. This is not for Emma Chappelle. This is not for Madeline Dunn. This is not for Rita Hill.
That's right.
This is for all of us collectively together. Sometimes when people tell you what's good for you, it's always good for them. Think about that. When they tell you that, and then sometime later you find out, well, you know, there was a connection. So-and-so, they're on the payroll, or so-and-so is a consultant, or so-and-so got a great appointment, or so-and-so's family is employed, or so-and-so, and on and on and on and on and on. That's why you got a Democratic Party that I support, but that the mechanisms of the Democratic Party works for some people, but it doesn't work for all people. That's why if you want a job, you got to go to the chairman of the party to get a job.
And yet you hear on commercials every day that they work for all people. I just
Only
heard
at
a
election
commercial.
time. You get the
Only at
commercial,
election
oh,
time.
we're for all people.
Yeah.
But
That's
not
right.
all people
That's
are
right.
benefiting.
And the decisions made leave us hanging out to dry. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. The stuff that we put up with in this city.
That's right.
And you can't vote Republican because they are so outwardly, no, we don't do this, we don't want to do that, blah, 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 blah. And let's just look at the Superior Court. The Superior Court. One black person. In all the cases that we send up there, because of what happens down here. Somebody was telling me the other night it's because of the way we talk. The way we talk, they can't understand what we are saying. And so the people that are taking the messages,
the court reporters,
the court reporter says, I just couldn't, I didn't know what they were talking about. And then they send it up there, and then they say the same thing. So we have wasted time and energy trying to get something rectified for ourselves, for our families.
Extremely dangerous.
It's so many
We're going to
different
talk a little
things
bit
here.
more, Madeline, about the courts because we want to get through this report card, and then we're going to talk about
Law
the
and
judges.
justice.
Okay.
We're going to bring it up in law and justice.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to say, and I want you all to chime in for, you know, there is an agency, PHMC, that I call the big behemoth of the city of Philadelphia in terms of behavioral health and services. This is an agency now that is close to $750 million. And they are getting bigger and bigger. They're located downtown in what I call the Clothespin Building.
Yes.
That are walking away with awesome salaries. The CEO is making close to $1 million a year. And at the same time, at that very same time that all of this is happening, they're the ones that are going to be out at 4601 Market Street moving in and creating more behavioral health slots. Here are the people who don't invest in your community. They're not a part of a group of people who invest in the community. But they're overshadowing all of the agencies. West Health Systems, Community Council, some of the others who collectively, none of them, the individual ones, Dunbar agencies, all of the African American run agencies are squeezing, they're being squeezed. They have to lay off people and figure out a way to survive because the people who have been appointed in the city of Philadelphia over behavioral health are taking business away from them, closing their doors, laying off people. And we when we go to vote on Tuesday, what are we going to vote for? More of this?
I certainly hope not, because God knows Kennedy has given us his foot in our everything.
That's right.
Everything it's absolutely horrible. And I have a niece that she's doing her doctorate now. Hopefully, when she gets to it, she'll have something she can help move some of that stuff around a little bit.
But we have, you know what, your niece will join a good, healthy line of people. We have good people with PhDs in areas of the behavioral health psychologists. We have them.
That's right.
They're struggling to keep their doors open because they are robbed of the business. Because there is a pipeline that the business goes to certain agencies against the will of the smaller agencies, and they're squeezing them out. There's no agency that is African American run that has the ability to grow in the way that PHMC has. Because they get the support of city council, they get the support of the mayors, and it wasn't just this mayor, it was previous mayors. They gave them the support and the business to do that, while at the same time, every time these agencies had to fight for their existence. Every year they have to go in and fight the people. Fight them in order to be able to serve the community, to give them culturally competent service. People who look like you, who have experienced the things that you have experienced, who go back and get these degrees.
That's right.
Come back home in order to do something. Can I get the business and or the work to keep these doors open? We are tired of this.
Absolutely, we're tired of it. And the referrals just don't go to the smaller organizations. The referrals continue to pile up and go to the PHMCs of the city. And why is that? And why is there no outcry? Why is there no request for a review? Why is there no outcry from the community when you know that the referrals are piling up and stacking up against the smaller African American run agencies, and they're going to the PHMCs of the city?
And they're begging for help. What's happening with city council that they aren't following up on it?
That they're not looking into it. There's no inquiry.
It should be a priority. It should be a priority.
That's right.
You can't tell us to elect you. You ought to be for the people who elect you. You need to be for the people.
Praise the bridge that brought you over.
You know, that subject works me up a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
We see, Joanne, we see, but as it should work us all up, and we are all worked up
particularly
today.
when you hear the children of how they get moved around for little or nothing.
That's right.
With the parents, they don't listen to the parents. Who the heck are they listening to?
And so they end up in these situations and behavioral health situations, and then we end up with some big company who goes up and sets up a business, and because the people favor them, they continue to get all the cases.
And we know how it happens.
That's right.
We know exactly how it happens.
We know
it's inside. It's the inside. It's the behavior of the people who have been appointed. It's their attitude.
Decision makers.
The decision makers. We know how they got there. We know who they are.
Right.
We know we know their biases.
That's right.
That's right, because what they're not doing is they're not responding to the cultural issues that we deal with. There's the trauma of poverty. There is the trauma that the children go into the schools with. It's not being addressed because they don't address it. They don't understand it.
But they don't want to address it, because if they address those issues in kindergarten and started with somebody yesterday who's running for president said he thinks the first thing for reparations ought to be to teach the history of America and really what it meant bringing black people here, what they did, and et cetera, coming up the line. And once everybody knows how much we have contributed, how much they owe us, they will start to feel that they are worthy of. The people who are getting service need to say, I don't want them. I will say it in a minute. What do you mean you don't want them? How many black people on your staff?
Right.
And they look at me like I'm crazy. No.
Mm-hmm.
I need to feel comfortable.
Right.
I'm comfortable.
That's right. That's
like
exactly right.
When you're around people look like you. When you come in here and if it was all black people, what would you do?
Right.
You'd be saying, we need a little change.
That's right.
You know, I need me in anything I'm doing.
That's
I don't want to
correct.
spend my money. When I go in a restaurant, if we're out somewhere in a different part of town, and they're all white people serving, I said, I'm sorry, whoever I'm with. I'll just wait till we pass McDonald's or something. That'll make no difference. I'm not eating it.
Yeah.
I'm not spending my little poor dollar that I have done work 80 years to give to somebody who thinks I'm nothing. I can't do it.
So we're gonna move on so that we can finish this report card. We're gonna go to law and justice.
Yes.
So The topic number 1 is policing.
Yeah.
The establishment of a community panel with panelists selected by the residency in zip codes with the highest percentage of crack cocaine-related arrests to develop a new and improved policing strategies with a mandate for Commissioner Ross to incorporate the determined strategies. 2, establishment of law enforcement review panel with panelists selected from zip codes with the highest arrest rates and the lowest incomes in the city to facilitate community interaction, dialogue, confidence building, and policing process. 3, a bill to end the practice of stop and frisk. 4, increase support for Black Lives Matters, Reform Alliance, and they have in parentheses Meek Mill. I always get that back. Other criminal justice reform initiatives through $2 million in additional funding for city programs to collaborate with the aforementioned groups and to utilize any services that they may provide to the community. Topic 2, juvenile justice. A resolution in support of a commission to report out at the end of 2022 fiscal year on the state of juvenile justice, with a focus on the impact of the current state of affairs on female youth. A bill to cross-entity collaborations, e.g. DHS School District of Philadelphia, to remediate the school-to-prison pipeline with a mandatory parent and community-based programming. 3, gun violence. Establishment of a citywide police district-based youth roundtables to discuss the impact of gun violence related issues in concrete community solutions. Part 2 of that. School or church-based collaborations wherein city council members hold memorial sessions every 3 months for those lost to gun violence. In the months prior, wherein the council person reads the names of the lost in their districts and holds a period of silence in their honor. 3, the establishment of a 40% African American hiring requirement for public safety enforcement officers and funding there from the Philadelphia Activities Fund. So that is the desired outcomes that the Law and Justice Committee wants that I have just read.
Okay.
Their report card on disparate opioid prosecution versus crack and marijuana use, voting resolution 181054, but not resolution 140106. The committee has given the promises kept a C, equitable opportunities a D, poverty remediation a C, inclusive impact for blacks a D, barriers to justice reduced D. Law enforcement transparency, community interactions and community dialogue and regard. The committee has given promises kept C, equitable opportunities D, poverty remediation C, inclusive impact for blacks D, barriers to justice reduced C. Stop and frisk, resolution 180402, and ending the practice. The committee has given promises kept F, equitable opportunities F, poverty remediation F, inclusive impact for blacks F, barriers to justice to reduce F. Support of Black Lives Matter, Meek Mill Reform Alliance, and other criminal justice reform initiatives. The committee has given promises kept D, equitable opportunities C, poverty remediation C, inclusive impact for blacks D, barriers to justice reduced C. Juvenile justice. Policies focused on the diversion and focus on impact bill 180368. Promises kept D, equitable opportunities C, poverty remediation C, inclusive impact for blacks C, barriers to justice reduced C. We're going to hold it here and go to break. We will be right back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. We'll be right back.
WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media. Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent Black media.
Need help with your Social Security, veteran benefits, or Medicare? Congressman Brendan Boyle is hosting a Senior and Community Expo Saturday, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Esperanza Academy Charter School on the 300 block of West Hunting Park Avenue. There'll be free health screenings, more than 100 local vendors, and a free light lunch. To RSVP, just call the Congressman's district office or go online at boyle.house.gov. This advertisement was paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
The soulful sounds of legendary songstress Nina Simone will come to life on Sunday, May 19th as Germantown Arts presents Singing Nina, an inspiring cultural festival and conference. This special musical tribute will feature a day-long celebration of Nina Simone's life and work, including a screening of What Happened Miss Simone, a panel discussion of Miss Simone's life and work, a VIP reception with music by Mbalia Singli, a garden party with DJ Rich Medina, and musical tribute titled Dear Nina, a sonic love letter by Drea Deneur, and strings by Rootstock Republic. You don't want to miss this extraordinary tribute to the legendary singer, songwriter, arranger, civil rights activist, and high priestess of soul, Nina Simone. Get your tickets today. Visit GermantownArts.com or call 215-839-6732.
Support independent Black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com.
Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14 for Judge of the Court of Common Pleas, an African-American candidate for judge. Sherman has been fighting for justice and serving our community for over 20 years. He is endorsed by the Democratic Party and the Laborers Union on Election Day, Tuesday, May 21st. Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14, an African-American candidate for judge. And remember, there's no stopping Sherman Toppin.
Paid for by the Committee to elect Sherman Toppin for judge.
Hurry into McDonald's and get the flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or the savory bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles, each at the low price of just $2, only at McDonald's.
You're listening to The Source on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
A million miles away and I'm still thinking about my baby. Ain't misbehaving, no, you don't need to worry. I'm having a good time. And I've had one too many, but you're the only one on my mind. 3 a.m. my phone is dead, I'm acting like a dang fool. We're singing, we found love and jumping in a swimming pool. Yeah, I had a good time. And I've had one too many, but you're the only one on my mind. Oh, but I know that I can be worth some. it with you. 80 miles away, but I'm still thinking about my baby. Ain't misbehaving, no, you don't need to worry.
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership Council. It's Report Card Day, and we're giving you the information that we think that is necessary for you to use on Election Day. And so we were working on law and justice when we went to break, and we're going to finish that. So under juvenile justice, female youth diversion treatment in the justice system. For promises kept, D. Equitable opportunities, D. Poverty remediation, D. Inclusive impact for blacks, D. Barriers to justice reduced, D. School to prison pipeline diversion. Promises kept, D. Equitable opportunities, D. Poverty remediation, D. Inclusive impact for blacks, C. Barriers to justice reduced, C. What criteria used for accessing to programs? Promises kept, F. Equitable opportunities, F. Poverty remediation, F. Inclusive impact for blacks, F. Barriers to justice reduced, F. Gun violence, gun sweeps, efforts to limit access to firearms, Resolution 170813. Promises kept, D. Equitable opportunities, C. Poverty remediation, D. Inclusive impact for blacks, C. Barriers to justice reduced, C. Efforts to stem the murder rate. There is one shooting in Philadelphia every 6 hours. Resolution 180553. Promises kept, D. Equitable opportunities. That's interesting, D. Poverty remediation, D. Inclusive impact for blacks, D. Barriers to justice reduced, C. Provision of community support, counseling, and other resources, Bill 180818, Public Safety Enforcement Officers. Promises kept, D. Equitable opportunities, D. Poverty remediation, C. Inclusive impact for blacks, F. Barriers to justice reduced, C. That's the report card for, I think I got it all for law and justice.
Yes.
And we know that something has to be done about the high murder rate. What we say with Black Women's Leadership, all of the things that we're talking about, health, education, economic development, all have to do with the high poverty rate is tied to the murder rate in this city. And we want to get it all in today, so we're going to move very quickly to education and Rita.
Okay. So education is always a hot button topic for us in our community. But the education committee came up with a statement. So their statement includes improvement in education must have a holistic approach, which includes families and the communities surrounding our children. The approach must be multi-generational and inclusive of all community resources and stakeholders as partners, such as religious, business, and civic organizations. The holistic approach to addressing education concerns must also include addressing any discriminatory consequences on entrepreneurs resulting from policies regarding childcare. Education must be seen as a lifelong learning process. And that's their position statement. So the Education Committee started with the topic surrounding school funding. How equitable funding is to be achieved. No definitive plan has been presented. The committee attempted to meet with Otis Hackney to no avail. Local versus state funding, grading at the local level, and we've taken a strong position on school funding. So the Education Committee graded equitable funding and whether or not it was achieved. They gave promises kept an F, equitable opportunities an F, poverty remediation an F, inclusive impact for blacks an F, and barriers to justice reduced an F.
Sounds right.
Sounds right to me too. Resolution 171018, which is the resolution authorizing the City Council Committee on Education to hold hearings to discuss how we can better implement educational standards in the early childhood years from pre-K to third grades to prepare our children for success later in life. So if we're going to invest in early education, we should invest in a uniform manner for all children. Implementing a quality indicator as the standard for issuing pre-K slots makes sense. However, we must do our homework and understand the demographics in the poorer communities. Data supports the need for high-quality education from infancy to kindergarten. Investing in early education makes sense. However, we must implement a plan to address how we include children and child care centers in the poorest communities. We're moving on to environmental conditions of schools. Resolution 160046 in council. Final passage was January 21 of 2016. The resolution authorized the Joint Committees on Education and Public Safety to conduct public hearings to examine the physical safety of Philadelphia schools. Actions to correct the environmental conditions are needed. What is the plan? So the Education Committee scored promises kept an F, equitable opportunities an F, poverty remediation an F, inclusive impact for blacks an F, and barriers to justice an F. Again, what is the plan? The quality of college education is the final topic for the Education Committee. Amending Chapter 19-3200 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Keystone Opportunity Zone, Economic Development District, and Strategic Development Area, by requiring that applicants for zone designation include opportunity plans that provide for apprenticeship and other work opportunities for students enrolled in school, district career, and technical education programs, all under certain terms and conditions. The sponsors were Council President Clark, Council Members Reynolds Brown, Council Member Quinones Sanchez, and Council Member Blackwell. The bill passed as of December 13, 2018 by City Council 17-0. And this is a new bill. Black Women's Leadership Council recommends that we look to the Education Committee's desired outcomes. So, the Education Committee's desired outcomes. For Topic 1, school funding, to address how equitable funding is to be achieved, including the consequences of tax abatement. The implementation of a plan which would result in funding at the school level that provides funding based on need. In order to address inequities resulting from poverty, funding must take into account those locations which require more resources to enable and support effective education regardless of the economic status of the community. We want to see the tax abatement program re-examined and adjusted. For Topic 2, environmental conditions of the schools, the Education Committee's desired outcomes. After receiving the findings from the hearings of the Joint Committees of Education and Safety, City Council should utilize the expertise of those qualified to recommend a plan of action. It should be a priority of City Council to find the necessary funding to make the schools environmentally safe. And on their final topic, quality improvement, education for college and non-college bound students. The Education Committee desired outcome includes the creation of a system which involves students, families, and community members in curriculum and other activities that stress the mastery of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, the arts, and entrepreneurship, regardless of whether one has an interest in going to college. Such a system should result in students who are high-functioning, culturally and academically competent, and competitive global citizens. Improvement in education, again, must have a holistic approach, which includes families and the communities surrounding our children. The approach must be multi-generational and inclusive of all community resources and stakeholders as partners, such as religious, business, and civic organizations. The holistic approach to addressing education concerns must also include addressing any discriminatory consequences, again, on entrepreneurs resulting from policies regarding childcare. Education must be seen as a lifelong learning process, and that is the commitment of the Education Committee.
Thank you, Rita. We're gonna come back and drill down a little bit more on this. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. It is Report Card Day, and we will be right back.
Reality Check. Reality Check, hosted by Charles Ellison, Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. right here on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on wordradio.com.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you Word listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that Word 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all walk down many streets. Sometimes we walk the wrong way, and many times we celebrate because we finally find the right way. Listen to this autobiography by Portia Nelson in 5 short chapters. As we listen, the question is, what street are we on now? Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I'm helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street.
This is Councilwoman Maria Quiñones Sanchez. Thank you for your continued support. I'm your fighter in City Hall because our neighborhoods deserve excellent services and a voice that goes beyond divisive rhetoric and special interests. I never forget that I'm fighting for you and your family's future every day. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st, press number 85, Democrat for City Council, 7th District. When we work together, we all win. Paid for by Friends of Maria.
We are progressive and proud and interactive. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at onWURD. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live at wordradio.com.
I smile and I'm wrapped up in your magic. Music all around me, crazy music, music that keeps calling me so very close to you. Turns me your slave. Come on, come and do with me anything that you want to. Anything, baby, just let me get next to you. Am I insane, or do I really see heaven in your eyes? Bright as stars that shine up above you in the clear blue skies. How I worry about you, just can't live my life without you, baby. Come here, don't have no fear. Oh, is there? Wonder why I'm really feeling in the mood for love. So tell me why would I stop to think about this weather, my dear? This little dream might fade away. There I go, talking out of my head again. So baby, won't you come and put our two hearts together? That would make me strong and brave. Oh, when we are one, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. If there's a cloud up above us, go on and let it rain. I'm sure our love together would endure a hurricane. Oh, my baby, won't you please let me love you and get a release from this awful misery?
What is all this talk about loving me, my sweet? I'm not afraid, not anymore, not like before. Don't you understand me? Oh, baby, please pull yourself together, 'cause I'm doing very smooth. My heart's on fire. Come on and take me on and watch you make me, my darling.
Woo! I like that song. You're listening to
Enjoying that.
WURD
Yes.
96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership, and it is Report Card Day today. The election is this Tuesday, May 21st, and we want you to be armed when you walk into that polling place. Understand, vote your interest, not somebody else's interest.
right.
Vote your interest. So I'm here today. I'm Joanne Bell. I'm here with Emma Chappelle, Rita Hill, and our special guest, Madeline Dunn. Let's talk a little bit about these judges, and I know you're wanting to talk a little bit about it, Madeline. What we understand, and we have some concern, and we're going to do some background work on it, but a great deal of the African American judges are being found not qualified by the bar.
That's been from day one. When somebody said to the bar, probably, if you let them in, they'll want to take the whole thing over. That kind of crap goes around all the time. And so when Cal Campbell, that was the big thing that Cal Campbell should be remembered for. Most of the judges down there, the black women in particular, Cal Campbell pushed by Brady.
Wow.
She made him in a sense, and he made her in that regard.
Yes.
And because he had to do it. But as for the Superior Court, we didn't get the people on the Superior or the Supreme. And Doris Smith, when Rendell put her on the Commonwealth Court, and then of course she stayed, which was good. And then she was thinking about the higher courts, but looking at how they handle that here in Philadelphia. Even like the sister Paula Patrick moved here from South Carolina. She ran for judge first time and she won. She's just a sister with a lot of her personality comes through, her intellect comes through.
Mm-hmm.
This is a sister who really wants to get things done for this community, which is very important. And that's my whole goal. Anything that I butt my nose into is because I'm looking out for, I call it, the least of these. And I'm included in that.
Right.
So it's our job, if we can get it done, to get things done that betters our whole community. People who think about us with admiration and the respect that we deserve.
Yes.
Because we've earned it. people who want to see us move forward and be there when we need to apply to those appellate courts. We need people up there.
Yes.
The last person that got elected, was it Nix? Over 20-some years ago. The rest of them...
Maybe 40
years.
something years ago.
And you're probably right. And the rest of them, they appoint them when they're like in 67.
Yeah.
Now they've moved the age from
Well, you can't-
70 to 75. But still.
Yeah.
The issue, quite frankly, when you run statewide, is racism.
Yes, it is.
James Carville once said that between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh is Alabama.
That's right, and that's true.
And you got to run in Alabama in order to win statewide. I don't know that we've had very many people who can make it to, through, statewide.
But only when you pull out, when Philadelphia turns out. If Philadelphia's black people decide to really turn out
then they
for
can
this
win.
election, not only that, I mean, it would go worldwide. Because how much was the vote the last time for the mayor's race? 21%, some people say 27. Either way, there are people who don't come because they say they don't have a reason. You got a reason today. These three ladies, not Madeline Dunn, I didn't do any of this work. I just came down to egg them on. Since they invited me, I'm telling you, you have a reason to vote. When you heard all those F's, who's in charge of those people who make those decisions at the top? The mayor.
That's right.
The mayor is in charge of them. And if you want change, don't let those people who have been on the air trying to tell people that who can't win, that's crap. And I'm saved. I'm a deaconess in Holy Cross. I'm going to tell you the real deal. That's BS. And you can feel that in any way you want it. But that is the God in heaven's truth. If you want to make a difference in what goes on in Philadelphia,
that's right.
You will get your souls to the polls on Tuesday, starting at 7 when they open and 8 when they close. You got 13 hours to go out and vote. That's all we're
So there's
asking
no
you to-
excuse.
There's
And
no
you
excuse.
And you know what they have done. Not anything for this community. I mean,
And we have done our best
We have
to
gone
reveal
backwards.
that. We have done our best over the last few months to reveal the fact that they have not done for our
this is a
community.
ton of work that you ladies
That's
have
right.
done. I'm so proud of y'all. I don't know what to
We
do.
have done our research, and we're willing to back it up, that they are not supporting the African American community in
At
the
all.
city.
At all.
At all.
No.
And we're going to have to make a change. And the only way that we get people to stand up and respect us is if we vote.
That's right.
If we
Collectively,
vote.
and to make the
collectively,
change.
it sends the message that we're not going to stand by and let this happen anymore.
We got to respect ourselves.
That's right.
We got to respect
That's right.
ourselves.
That's
and we
right.
owe it more to the next generation. We shouldn't do this to them. We can't let our own personal interest and greed get in the way of what's good for the community. And I keep saying, when people stick a ballot in your hand and tell you, when you go to the polls, this is who you should vote for, and that person does not have a history of doing anything for the African American community,
No support.
or has
Or
a
for you.
or
Or-
has
or
a
for
record,
you.
that doesn't support the allegations that they make in commercials.
Oh, and just the fabrications are all over the place. Lying. Every time you look up the television, every time.
Or you
something new
hear it
your
on the
doorstep.
radio.
That's right.
Or you hear it on the
That's right,
radio.
because he's got a ton of money. And that boy yesterday who gave him, or the day before yesterday, another $1 million to add to what he already had. And he's spending every penny if he needed to.
Right, in
I thought he
television
was going to
ads.
have a heart attack down there
At the debate. At the debate, yes, he
got
did look
pink.
ill. He did look ill.
Couple things.
Those two candidates really got him good.
I'm telling you,
They
turn
did.
red.
Yes.
Yes, Tony and Buckowitz. Buckowitz is furious. He is furious.
He
And
was
the
on.
same-
Yes, he was. Now, we thought they were going to come to fight if they didn't throw that down.
Yeah.
I think Buckovitz was getting ready to throw one.
He might
It was like, you gonna tell me about why I lost, he said, that I think the point that he was trying to make was that he lost for doing his job because he wasn't bored.
That's what he said.
And that the mayor
That's
couldn't do it because he insinuated
bored.
that he was bored.
That's right.
He said they didn't want me because they couldn't buy me, so therefore I'm going. Okay.
That's right.
But at the same time, when you think all this money that he got in, why in the heck did he get a machine that costs 50% more? There was another machine there.
Oh, for the new voting machines. Yeah.
But let me just say,
costs 50% more.
But let me say one more thing.
Giving away tax dollars again.
I think we need to say this: the double standard.
Yes.
If Senator Williams said some of the things that was being said on that stage, we would have heard the next day "angry black man."
That's right. And that's the reason he didn't.
Because he couldn't.
And I'm glad he didn't.
He couldn't because it would have been angry black man because we don't get the right to be passionate.
Right.
We don't get the right to be who we are. And when I looked at that, that's what I saw. He couldn't do that. He couldn't because he couldn't.
And thank goodness he didn't.
He couldn't be the angry black man. He couldn't have said it.
But he said the right thing. I'm running for mayor.
But the point that I make is that we got to look at it in all of its glory. We got to look at how the press treats us.
Right.
We have to look at it, and it's truth telling time.
And see it for what it is.
We got to see it for what it is. It is truth telling time, and we got to have the convictions to stand up to the truth.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. We don't need to be trotted out, and you know. When I look at the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Daily News, you got to kind of read what they write. You got to read right on through the lines. They got an agenda. They got a list out here for people that you should vote for. That's their agenda.
Right.
That's their agenda. Take their 5 people who listen to them and vote for that ticket. Okay, take the 5 people. And I've said something also that I'm going to get in trouble for. I'm sick of the liberals.
We talked about that today. Yeah. The so-called liberals.
That's what I started to say. So-called liberals.
That's right.
Because they're not liberal.
They're not
on
liberal at all.
anything that could be helpful to other people, only for themselves. And this
it's a patriarchy that do as I say that I think is good for you, which has led us where we are now. That's what's gotten us where we are. Because we want to do so great, so they're going to run out and start a program. I got a great program for the children. They make money off of us.
That's right.
I got a great program that such and such and such. Name the ill in the black community, and I bet you there's going to be a liberal organization that knows something about how to do that is attached to the dollars. What I'd say, I've been around a long time in the city, and I've been around a lot of poverty pimping organizations that have fill their coffers and then take their money in bags back to the suburbs or the better neighborhoods of the city, leaving those same people that they had a prescription for right there in their poor neighborhoods not doing any better.
Not doing any better.
Or when you challenge them on their hires, they go and drag out 1 or 2 people and put them in key positions.
Right.
It happens in almost every sector. 2 weeks ago, I think, or may not even been 2 weeks ago, we talked about District Council 47, and how the women are being treated. They got rid of at least 5 or 6 black women in just trumped up stuff one beyond another. But again, our brothering in other unions that see this stuff going on still embrace that group that's doing that stuff.
And keep their mouth shut.
Now,
keep their mouth shut.
Now, that's the thing that got me about this. The sheriff, as far as I'm concerned, Joe Williams, because I know some people from Harrisburg days, and they talked about Joe's behavior towards them. They're going along to get along. Why, I don't know. And I say it's just because they don't respect black women. They just don't respect black women. When a man already has 13 accounts out of the police department, 5 or 6 that the FOP made him throw out, how you going to put him, and I'm a victim and I come to you and he's going to be in charge of the victims?
Yeah, you mentioned that on the break, but who are we speaking about? Who has accounts?
His last name is Williams. I don't know what his first name is. He's been on the police force about 20 years. But he's been in trouble for messing with women a long time. It wasn't just yesterday. It's been a long time.
And then they put him in charge of special victims.
And that next day, you couldn't get Ross. I don't know who answered the phone and said, well, just watch the news. We're going to report on that. And then somebody came on the news and said that the man changed his behavior, blah, 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 and so he's fine. No, he's not. If he was white women, he wouldn't be changing anything.
Yeah, he'd be out of there. He'd be out of there. He'd be out of there.
And we have got to demand it for our women. It is crazy for this craziness. It is absolutely crazy with the craziness that's going on.
Well, sometimes we got to have a little talk with the brothers, too, about respect.
That's right.
And about how to treat us with respect.
Right. And that was the reason I always say parent university with our children. Because if I was raised and there was no respect showed to me, I don't show it to my children. You can tell how people talk to their children. Here they go down the street. They dragging the baby along like, hey, sister, slow down. His legs ain't long as yours.
I know. Can't walk as fast.
That's right. And, you know.
I wanted to say the Special Victims Unit is the name of a special division within some police departments.
Mm-hmm.
The detectives in this division typically investigate crimes involving sexual assault.
There you go.
Or victims of non-sexual crimes who require specialist handling, as the very young, the very elderly, or the disabled.
Right.
So whoever this person is in the Special Victims Unit doesn't sound like he should be there.
It don't sound like
Not here in Philadelphia.
Because a lot of these cases are bad behavior.
That's right.
With women.
And with women.
And I find it abominable. And I think, how can sisters be? How could brothers do that to sisters? They got enough problems.
Right.
Even the girl going down the street with everything hanging out.
Right.
You know, I just feel bad for her because she don't know better.
Right, but she doesn't deserve to be harassed.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't deserve to
what
be.
What you wear has nothing to do with it.
That's what they tell me. That's what my granddaughters used to say. But Granny, really? Look, she got her little boobs pushed up so that they hang on. Had nothing to do with it. I said, well, suppose somebody grabbed you. I'll beat. Girl, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, but it does conjure up ideas from men. It really does.
Right.
Yeah,
you are available.
But that's right, that you're available.
That's what you're looking for. But that's not what that
until
means.
That woman says that she is available.
Right.
Then she's not available.
She's not available. You can look, but you better not touch.
Don't touch and don't harass and don't call names.
That's right.
And it's not up to women to police men's behavior. It's up to men to police their own behavior.
That's right.
That's right.
And their own sense of entitlement.
That's right.
But they read it that way. But anyway, we were talking a little bit earlier about education, and you and I were talking a little bit about the need to continue history, Black history, in the curriculum.
But they never started it, really.
No.
They got books stuck in basements all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah, they relegate us to Black History Month. And that's the only time that they talk about our history in the school system. And then they did away with Black History Month.
Well, I think...
When did they do it?
In the schools. They don't talk about it.
They don't?
No.
Well, I just think that it's something that is up to us to make sure that we get them to invent or rediscover that there is Black history. Okay? And that it needs our young people, our millennials are coming along. They don't know anything about Black history because, like you said, it's not in the school system.
If you don't know where you came from, you hardly will know where you're going. And if you have no grounded sense of your history, and if all you heard was that you were the underdog all your life, it doesn't instill in you things that make you feel good about yourself. We're going to go to commercial. You're listening to 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. We'll be right back.
This Memorial Day, Sugar House Casino is letting you drive home a winner. Play your favorite slots and table games all month long to earn entries to win a 2019 Cadillac XT4. Visit SugarHouseCasino.com for more details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is WURD Radio, independent black media.
WURD Radio congratulates President and CEO Sarah Lomax Reese on being the recipient of the Path to Power Entrepreneur of Today and Tomorrow Award, presented by the Women of Tomorrow. Sarah and others will be acknowledged on Wednesday, May 15th during a special event at Ridgeland Mansion, 4100 Shimoni Drive, from 6 till 9 p.m. The event will feature music by jazz singer Imani, wine tasting by Moore Brothers Wine, delectable desserts, special beverages, and more. All proceeds will benefit the Greater Philadelphia program. Join the celebration and get your tickets today. For more information, visit PassThePowerEvent.org.
As a mom of 2 young boys in Philadelphia, I worry constantly about not only their education, but their safety. Each day on the news, I hear about countless young people lost to gun violence. That's why on May 21st, I'm voting for Isaiah Thomas for City Council at large. Isaiah Thomas has the background, experience, and innovative ideas to improve the lives of young people and all Philadelphians. So remember to push button number 71 and vote Isaiah Thomas for City Council at large.
Paid for by Citizens for Isaiah Thomas.
WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
You know, I was wondering, if you could keep on, because the force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like it makes me feel like
Just rise
We're back. You're listening to WRD Word, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source, Black Women's Leadership. I'm Joanne Bell here with Emma Chappelle, Rita Hill, and special guest Madeline Dunn. And we're going to talk about the debate the other night. Because I know y'all got a lot to say about that debate.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
As Ernest Owen says, we're going to spill the tea.
Yeah.
Spill the
We're going to
tea.
spill the tea. We're going to talk about that. Woo! That was some debate.
It was.
And
It
Ernest
really
had
was.
a prime seat.
Yeah, did you see Ernest's eyes?
I know, he had a prime seat on the debate, and every time somebody said something, he would do his eye, buck his eyes, and please. I could almost read his words coming out of his mouth.
Right. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, they picked who they did the
who
camera
sits
on.
where,
I was going to talk
Well,
about
he was
that.
very. Our Ernest was very entertaining. he was clearly entertaining.
He always is. He always is. He's very animated. It's a good thing.
But the good thing about him is he has the facts to go
That's
with what
right.
he
He
says.
certainly does.
That's right.
And see, a lot of people talk smack, as my daughter says, but when he tells you something, you know he's done the research, and that's why.
That's true.
We were so proud of our scorecard because we did the hard work that goes into it.
That's right.
And so when people challenge you on something, you know that you can
got the
back it up.
answers, right.
You have the
Right.
answers,
And you have to
that's
be able to back
always
it
That's
up.
the good part.
That's the good part.
Well, that's the way I felt about the other night. The way it was going, and the question that came up, they were just talking, and the guy that was doing the emceeing
Yes.
from the
From Telemundo, or
I
from
hate
the
being
channel,
old.
from the
These
channel
words
10.
just go away. Don't
Channel
make me
10.
sick. Anyway,
Channel
Channel
10.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
And Buckowitz was screaming. Kenny first was pink and he turned red. And Tony is looking at him and saying, "Look, we're running for mayor here." I thought that was so great of him. But I realized that Tony's background, his degree is in economics. So his answers are precise, and he doesn't give that little extra verbalization to the answer. He just gives you the answer.
Right.
Because when you do that kind of work, it's a lot different. Yeah, babe.
But the mayor picked the fight with Alan Buckovitz.
He did.
He did.
And,
I mean,
Buckowitz
he beat
gave it
because
to him.
How?
Because Buckovitz was going at him
Yes, he was.
with information, and the
Yes.
mayor was
And
like,
kept-
"Well, you know,
and
when
kept-
somebody's losing the fight,
Yeah,
and
throwing
then they
Johnny
say,
Depp on him.
but what happens is when somebody's losing the fight, then they go to your mama joke.
That's
Okay?
right.
Well, yeah, well, it's your mama.
Right,
You know?
that's
So
right.
he-
That's right.
And so he would say it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, so no,
That's right.
so the- but,
Yeah,
but,
that's
but
what
the
he
mayor
looked at
said
it.
to Alan Buckovitz, the people of Philadelphia fired you. So what else did he think he was going to come back and
know.
say?
What did he think?
Fired me. He said, fired me. They fired me because I was doing my job.
And I wasn't bought by
And I
anybody.
wasn't
bought
bored.
by anybody.
I just wanted it to go on for about another 15 minutes because I swear they were going to come out with some stuff. I knew they were about to say some stuff. They were about to spill some tea.
They were going to spill the
They
tea.
were just going to spill some tea, and I was like, that hour is over already.
Well,
But
you know
what was
they
good?
should-
What was good is that everything the mayor said that he did and accomplished, and that Alan Buckowitz would challenge it, and with the facts, exactly how the money was spent and wasn't spent the way it was supposed to have been spent, and that's what made it very interesting. And that was why the mayor started appearing to look pissed more and more, is because every time he said, "Well, I did this, I did that," and then Buckowitz could say, "Well, you did it because of, and you didn't do it because of ABC," you know. So that was causing the irony.
It was informative because
Yes.
between Tony and Alan Buckovitz, Tony came back with, "Well, here's what I would do if I
Yes.
was there."
Right.
And here's my prescriptions to make the changes. In the meantime, the mayor is standing there trying to defend the indefensible and making excuses. But there was one other thing that happened, and I don't know if you caught this. So Sandy Shea is one of the people that was asking the questions, and rumor has it that she's already a Kenny person. So
I couldn't believe that.
yes,
Yeah.
and so she tried
And
to
I
shut.
was sitting in back of her, in fact.
You were sitting in back of her?
But I was up here. So at first they had the camera on me because Atiba kept saying, "Look over there."
Because you were on the camera.
But then they took it down to this Caucasian couple on the first row.
Okay.
Right behind her. I was
Yes,
on the
I saw
second
them.
row. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But her question was geared to like, come on, Kenny, now.
Yeah.
Be a good boy.
Giving him a
she was giving him. She was giving him a play.
She was leading him.
She was leading him.
And Alan blew her. He said, "Look, everybody knows your politics or something, or knows where you are." So right there. And the other thing that bothered me about her is that she was the one who wrote, I think, the editorial in the Inquirer that talked about what can you really achieve, I'm paraphrasing, with the 26% poverty.
Right.
In other words, she was writing an article geared to uplift the mayor to say, well, he can't do much about the poverty. What could he do?
What could he have done?
So, this stuff.
She shouldn't be in journalism if that's what she's saying.
The thing is, she has a point of view, and she's trying to sell that point of view,
Right.
And without disclosing where she really is coming from. So I don't think that she was an honest broker sitting there.
No.
And so we should view her
as biased
in the context that she's there. We need, and the other thing, I'm getting tired of the.
Who did the Inquirer and the Daily News endorse, or did they do endorsements already?
They had some. I don't know who they endorsed for mayor. They did have a city council endorsement.
With mostly new names.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly new names.
Their agenda.
Okay.
Their
They
agenda.
didn't in the district, or I'm sorry, at large. They had at least 5 names. Only one was currently in office.
Was that Derek Green?
No.
Helen Jim?
Yes, of course.
That was the only one.
Okay.
But other than that, they had all new names. They said they want to bring in a whole new group.
Yes.
So what we should do?
He should just go right ahead and endorse Tony. Make it a whole new group. For real.
So, but let me just say this. I would remember the old days when we used to get the paper delivered, we had actual paper.
Right.
Then after you read it, you used it to dry your floor or wrap the fish.
Clean the windows.
Clean the windows for sure. Clean the windows.
You get the multi-purpose.
That's right.
Well, that's what you should do with those endorsements.
That's the truth.
Okay, that's true.
Wrap it up. If you're gonna have fry some fish on Friday night and you want to get rid of the smell, you just wrap it in that and throw it out in the trash. That's what you should do.
He's going fishing in a couple weeks. Take it with you.
Just take that.
That's right.
Go on fishing with it.
They're going to Canada somewhere to fish.
That's it. When when people are not for you and they got their own agenda.
Yes.
And their agenda is that some people, they always want change when there are too many faces of color sitting somewhere.
Absolutely.
Then we're reform minded, and all of a sudden. Look.
That's that liberal
a
for you.
A lot of us lived through the Rizzo era and all of the other stuff.
That's right.
And they love Ed Rendell, and I swear he got more stuff, and he never got caught, or no one said anything about it.
No one said anything.
Don't got away with a whole bunch of stuff. It was like, there's nothing wrong with that.
And actually doing the community. I'm just going to leave it like that. Doing the community. I mean, like this abatement stuff and all the different things that he's put in. Hey.
But never gets anything on him. But the first time some person of color does something, the city is so terribly corrupt. Philadelphia's always been corrupt and incontent.
That's right.
That's why
corrupt and content.
They have always been corrupt, and that's why they had the city charter in 51 and Dilworth Clark.
Yeah,
that's right.
To get rid of the corruption. Before you had to pay to be on the police department. You had to be a part of it. All of that other stuff. So please, with this clutching your pearls, and it's because brown people are running the city. And the minute that John Street had the nerve to say the brothers and sisters was running the city, they put a bug in his office.
That's right.
How dare you? How dare you think that you can lead? How dare you think that you're running something?
And couldn't get nothing. I know they were so sick that they didn't know what to do.
Because it's presumed that if you are a person of color that you're corrupt.
That's right.
If you're a person of color who has an independent thought, you're corrupt.
You're corrupt.
If you're a person of color who follows the lead, if you're a person of color that is in a supporting cast, you're good people.
Right. But if you're
looking to do what's right for our
and
community,
you're going to say it, and they say, why don't she keep her mouth shut?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it.
No, and me neither.
And neither am I, and that's what we decided.
You have earned the right
That's
to
right.
be who you are and say what you want to say.
But if y'all get me on this education committee,
Uh-huh.
we're going to get something done that I've been really wanting to get done.
Well, that's good. 'Cause
Great, that's
I have
great.
an agenda too, and mine is avocation. What is it? I want young people to learn to do things with their hand,
vocational,
and their mind,
Right.
and things of that sort. I just think that every young person does not want to go to college, or is not prepared to go to
Right,
college.
right.
So we need to find alternatives for young people to learn various types of
Because
businesses.
there's so many things now
Yes.
to do.
Absolutely. There's
Yes.
technology, there's all
You just
kinds of,
need
yes.
to know how to learn, and that learning is the business of for a lifetime.
That's right.
For a
Just keep
lifetime.
learning. And what you do is you learn. The
That's
more
right.
you learn, the more you know that you don't know.
Yes.
People that don't bother reading and don't know, they know
Right.
it all.
And like Miss Emma said,
yeah.
college is
College
not for
not
every young
everybody.
person.
No, indeed.
And that there are vocational programs that we should be pushing in the school system as well as college-bound students.
right.
Because not everyone's going to go to college and not everyone should go to college. But there
right.
are many, many jobs that require technical skill that young people can learn, and they can make a good living and be able to take care of their families and be productive members.
Like some of those building and trades jobs. Listen,
Exactly.
It costs just as much to go to the doctors as to call a plumber.
That's right.
That's right.
Or
That's
an
how much money
electrician.
they make.
Okay,
That's right.
that's why they can live in the suburbs and have houses down at the shore. And all of that's these are the jobs that we have not been allowed to have
That's
to
right.
raise
Right.
families.
In this city.
And wait a
In
minute,
this
and
city.
we were building things before
That's right.
they even got started.
Exactly.
They cannot mathematically set up how the pyramid was built. They cannot do it.
No,
And black
they can't
people
figure it
built
out.
them centuries and centuries ago. There's so
And-
much a
right.
part of this world that has been done by our people. That's why our
And
children,
most of
if
the
they know who
inventions,
they
most
are,
of
I
the
think they'd
inventions.
be better.
You
They'll-
think
they'll
about
be
how many
better.
things we've invented,
Oh, yeah.
and we don't get credit for it. Somebody
right.
takes it and runs with it, and next
Not
thing
only
you know,
that, they make all the money.
they make
from
all
it.
the money off of it.
Yep.
But we have that kind of mind that creates, is a creative
true.
mind.
That's true.
That's
and
true.
we need to develop that in our young people. That's where I am. I
Well,
just
that's
really think-
why we've adopted Kayla. She's going to be on here talking,
Yeah.
all of this stuff that what does it say? We're turning her into a brassy black woman, speaking her mind.
Speak your mind,
Speak your
Kayla.
mind.
Speak your mind. So you're listening to 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to Word, WRD. You're here with Black Women's Leadership on the Source, and we'll be right back.
Get your money straight.
Get my money right.
With Solomon Jones and Akbar Hassan.
Fridays on Wake Up with Word.
7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Exclusively on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app.
Hello, Philadelphia. This is Omar Sabir, and I'm asking you to vote on Tuesday, May 21st. People died for our right to vote. If you want better schools, if you want reduced crime, if you want an overall better quality of life, then vote. Your vote counts. Push 35 and it'll make you feel alive. Omar Sabir for City Commissioner on Tuesday, May 21st. Paid for by Citizens for Omar Sabir.
Be heard.
Be heard.
Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media.
Using the hashtag onWord.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts is excited to present the next installment of their Jazz Residency collaboration for 2019. In its 6th year, the Kimmel's Jazz Residency program is designed for groups of local artists to create their amazing personal stories through the jazz music genre. Performing in the Kimmel's SEI Innovation Studio Thursday, June 6th will be trombonist Dan Blacksburg with percussionist Joseph Goldman. Friday, June 7th will feature the amazing sounds of guitarist David Allen, poet laureate Raquel Salas Rivera, and violinist Diana Monroe. And June 8th, the soulful Latin American composer Dario Peñazek, lyricist Maya Peñazek, and singer Ariacine Trujillo. Tickets on sale now for these special BYO events. Visit kimmelcenter.org or call 215-893-1999.
The soulful sounds of legendary songstress Nina Simone will come to life on Sunday, May 19th, as Germantown Arts presents Singing Nina, an inspiring cultural festival and conference. This special musical tribute will feature a day-long celebration of Nina Simone's life and work, including a screening of What Happened Miss Simone, a panel discussion of Miss Simone's life and work, a VIP reception with music by Mbalia Singley, a garden party with DJ Rich Medina, and musical tribute titled Dear Nina, a sonic love letter by Drea Deneur, and strings by Rootstock Republic. You don't want to miss this extraordinary tribute to the legendary singer, songwriter, arranger, civil rights activist, and high priestess of soul, Nina Simone. Get your tickets today. Visit GermantownArts.com or call 215-839-6732.
You're listening to The Source on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Say what? Well, you're too hot to trot now, baby. Well, you're too hot to stop. Woo! Baby. Well, you're too hot to trot now, baby. Well, you're too hot to stop. Woo! Baby. The things that you do, the things that you say, that you love me, baby, in the strangest way. What you doing to me, girl, is knocking me down. I can see right now that you're the best thing around. Is there a place for me in your heart, girl? Girl, that's where I wanna be. 'Cause I love you. There's one thing I wanna do. All the sweet things. Oh, all the sweet things. I wanna do all the sweet things for you, baby. Let them do all the sweet things. Well, you're too hot to trot now, baby. Well, you're too hot to stop. Woo! Baby. Well, you're too hot to trot now, baby. Well, you're too hot to stop. Woo! Baby. I just love every minute. Look what you do to me. You make me squeal. You make me feel. So get inside now. What a thrill. Sweet pretty woman. I just want you to know that I love you. I love you, baby. Head is spinning. Look what you're doing to me. Girl, I want you. Girl, I love you. Oh, I love what you're doing to me, sweet thing. Oh, I love you, little sweet thing.
We're back. You're listening to WRD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. You're listening to The Source. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council. Today is Report Card Day, and we have presented to you since 10 o'clock this morning the issues on health, education, law and justice, and economics. We've talked about it. We want you to be guided. And so we've come down to the last few minutes of our program, and we're going to go around the table. And I think Emma has one correction, and then we'll go to Rita, and then we'll come around.
My correction was on the Special Victims Unit?
Yeah.
All right. We talked a little bit earlier about this person who was put in position as the head of the Special Victims Unit for the police department. His name was Anthony Washington. And Inspector Anthony Washington, and it's amazing that he was put in charge of that unit because that unit is responsible for looking at people who have sexually harassed or act sexual abuse and other crimes like that. And he has been accused in at least 4 or 5 times himself as being a sexual harasser and a sexual abuser. So we want to know, why was he put in that position? The women in the African American women in this city have to be concerned. If he's the one going to decide what happens to these situations, he's the wrong person to do it.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely the wrong person to do it. So
I agree.
We know we've been dealing with election kind of things, but we need to deal with this situation in the police department and sexually abuse that's going on and sexual harassment that's going on in the police department and other places.
And black
After
women.
This, and yes, to
need
women
to be shown respect, and that says no respect.
No respect by this person, and then they insist and put him in charge of the department. That's like Fox controlling the hen.
That's right.
Hen, right?
That's right.
So anyway, I'm just saying that that's something we need to. We had talked earlier about looking at the education situation. We're still going to do that. I have one hang-up I really care that I talked about previously, and that's vocational education. And of course, all of us have issues that we'd like to see covered in the school system. So we're going to deal with that education after this, after we get past Election Day. But we have one more day, Monday, before Election Day.
Yes, we do.
To encourage people to come out and vote. And I certainly want to add
We'll
to
have
that.
a special election show, so
Yes.
preparing for the election on Tuesday.
Okay.
Rita.
Well, parting thoughts, and I've been thinking about it through the whole broadcast. I just want to thank Black Women's Leadership Council, Joanne, Miss Emma, and Rhonda. Hill Wilson, I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for your commitment.
Thank you.
From the very beginning, we talked about this months and months ago, and we have certainly committed to it.
Yes, we
Under
did.
your tutelage, I have watched and learned how to put a commitment together to the community and how to make it work, and how to demonstrate to the community that our commitment is real, that it is strong, that it's there every single day. We've done the work. We've come out now with the scorecard. We put together candidates and mayoral forums over the last month and a half leading up
Yes,
to
we
the
have.
election. The scorecard, we've gone over the scorecard today. We've delivered on everything, every promise that we made to our community. I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of my own self and
Could
my
you
role
thank
in it.
the committee? Could you tell them the committee's names? I want to thank Sonia Burris.
Sonia Burris for her leadership and her strength and help, because she's had some issues and challenges, and despite those challenges, she's come through. We like to thank LaJewel Gordon for her leadership with the Health Committee. We'd like to thank Rhonda Hill Wilson and Phoenicia Williams for their help on the Law and Justice Committee. We'd like to thank Barbara Simmons for her help on the Education Committee, and of course, Miss Emma Chappelle for her help and leadership on economic development and housing, and overall, Joanne Bell, your leadership and your help throughout the entire process. So I am proud to be a part of Black Women's Leadership Council. I'm proud of the work that we've done, the commitments we've made, and the commitments we've kept. So those are my parting words.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Rita. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And my parting words for this day is, word family, listen, listen. This is a fantastic group of hard-working women. They spend their days and hours thinking about what they're going to do for
Yes,
this
we do.
community. I love it. I'm not the only nut in this town. I love it. Oh, and I'm not as educated. However, I have enjoyed this day tremendously.
And we've enjoyed having you.
And all the issues we have brought forward, and I look forward to continue working. Y'all just gave me new energy.
That is wonderful, wonderful.
That's great.
Well, I got to tell you, you walk better than I do. Okay, so clearly
Little exercise
you
makes
got
that happen.
you got good energy. So I want to thank everyone. We'll be back again on Monday. We are passionate about what we believe, and it comes a time in your life when you're tired of what we would call the BS. And there was a young woman who was down in Florida. I forget her name, but when the shooting at the school, very passionate young lady, young woman who I sort of admire, and she said, when they were talking about something, she said, we call that BS. Mm-hmm. And then it was, and she ended each one of the things that was said, and she said, we call that BS. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to end with this. If you don't think that you can make a change on Tuesday, I call that BS. If you don't think that we need to have a change in the mayor's office, I call that
BS.
If you don't think that we can do better by our children and being murdered on these streets with gun violence, then I call that
BS.
If you don't think that we can have better outcomes in Philadelphia, I call that
BS.
And if you don't think that black businesses deserve to have business in this city because we are the taxpayers too, I call that
BS.
So get out and vote.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote.
We will see you on Monday. And take us out.